Hey, what's up, everybody? The V Club here. It's about anything and everything, alright? The V Club, the Villain Club, alright? And it's about anything and everything. Nothing's off the table. Unscripted, uncuffed, on everything. And nothing's off the table. I'll talk about anything. You tell me what you want to talk about, and I'll even bring it up. You tell me. But if not, I'll bring it up, alright? So I'll make it easy for you. But let's talk about it, alright? Let's get into it. I thought we should talk about this DOGE plan here, right? On how to reform the government, alright? So if you guys don't know by now, DOGE, not the crypto coin, I know what you're talking about, the crypto meme coin, even though it's the same acronym. Well, they're using it as an acronym for this new department of what they're going to be doing. And let's get into it here, all right? I want to see what their vision is here, or the plan on what they're going to do. Basically, Vivek and Elon were tasked to, I guess you could say, reform government, downsize the government because we're bloated. All right, there's too much bureaucracy, too much government, too much waste, and they're going to go in there and pretty much cut the fat. All right, because we don't need all this excess and overspending and all that stuff, right? But they're going to do a lot more than just that, all right? And so, they're going to look at stupid pork projects and all kinds of bullshit that states are doing, and how they're going to maybe possibly pull funding or no longer fund these sort of things that are federally funding certain whatever it is, projects, programs, things like that, that they feel and deem as not necessary or a waste. And I like the idea of it. I want to hear more of it, and I want to also give you guys my thoughts on something that it just came to mind when I watched it, and I was like, oh shit, you know what? This is something here, all right? So let's take a look at it.
And it's time for the hot topic of the hour. President-elect Trump filling up his cabinet with two new appointments. Former acting attorney general under Trump, Matt Whitaker, tapped as NATO ambassador. He'll be tasked with pressuring countries in the alliance to increase their defense spending, renewing an effort Trump undertook in his first term. Trump also nominating Michigan GOP chair Pete Hoekstra for U.S. ambassador to Canada. Hoekstra was the U.S. ambassador to the Netherlands during Trump's first term after serving 18 years as a Michigan congressman. He also chaired the House Intelligence Committee for a moment. VP-elect Vance returning to Capitol Hill today, meeting with senators about cabinet nominees. Securing support for Defense Secretary nominee Pete Hegseth and Attorney General nominee Matt Gaetz, who met with Senate Judiciary Committee members yesterday, along with incoming...
Oh, by the way, I don't have that news posted yet, but Matt Gaetz here decided to remove his name from nomination of AG, Attorney General, and he did it because he just didn't want to be, a cause of anything going on right now, like drawing attention and negative attention, or anything like that. He just wants to just withdraw himself, so he's not creating any sort of distractions of what Trump is trying to put together here for the future. So he removed his name from the nomination. So that was cool, though. And then Trump went ahead and hired a new AG, a female instead. So that's that right there. So I just wanted to make that note.
Majority Leader John Thune. The House Ethics Committee failing to reach an agreement over whether to release the report on its investigation into Matt Gaetz' alleged sexual misconduct allegations. Outgoing Pennsylvania Congresswoman Susan Wild says the matter is not closed and the committee is reconvening on December 5th. Illinois Congressman Sean Casten.
Elon Musk, I highly recommend anyone who hasn't
on the agency's Elon Musk and Vivek-The trading commission. Trump also reportedly mulling a position dedicated solely to cryptocurrency policy, which would interact with regulators, including the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Commodities Futures Trading Commission. Trump also expected to name Russ Vought as director of the Office of Management and Budget. Vought would be in charge of developing the proposed budget and implementing the president's agenda across the federal government, having a large influence on the agency's Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy's Department of Government Efficiency want to cut to or eliminate.
Department of Government Efficiency. There you go.
Got a lot coming up this morning on all of that. Tricia, your reaction?
Anyone who hasn't yet read that Wall Street Journal piece by Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk, I highly recommend it. Very much a blueprint for how they're going to cut savings, cut regulations, cut personnel. It's going to be very essential, but also looking at the mechanics of this. While it's going to be on the outside of government, Vivek and Elon, they also are going to have people embedded, definitely lawyers. I don't think that they could have gotten this done during the first Trump administration because they didn't have some of that Supreme Court precedent, like West Virginia versus EPA, which is basically saying some of these federal regulations simply are not constitutional.
Yeah, and Musk and Vivek laid it out, as you said, in that op-ed this morning in the Wall Street Journal. It's their vision for the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. The agency will pursue three major kinds of reform: regulatory recessions, administrative reductions, and cost savings. There'll be a focus on driving change through executive action based on existing legislation rather than by passing new laws. It will focus on cutting the federal.
Let's see here. Drive changes, cut amount of federal employees, end authorized federal spending, conduct audits of unexamined federal contracts. Interesting.
Workforce, identifying the minimum number of workers to perform agency functions and require employees to come into the office 5 days a week. The agency will work to end federal overspending by taking aim at the $500 billion plus in federal expenditures that are unauthorized by Congress. They'll also conduct large-scale audits of unexamined federal contracts during a temporary suspension of payments. Vivek Ramaswamy told me a bit about it on Sunday. Watch.
We want to go right in through executive action to do the failures of the executive branch that need to be addressed. Because the dirty little secret right now, Maria, is the people we elect to run the government, they're not the ones who actually run the government. It's the unelected bureaucrats in the administrative state. That was created through executive action. It's going to be fixed through executive action. We're going to be cutting costs. Over $500 billion that's spent every year right now was not even authorized by Congress in the first place.
You know how, like in California, they have these commissions in California, like the CARB board that, is supposed to regulate, CARB emissions and stuff. And they're not even like elected commissions. They're just assigned and tasked by Gavin Newsom, right? And so they have the power to just say, we're going to increase the price of gas because we need to help clean up the fuel even more with all these whatever they're going to do to make it cleaner and stuff. But this is exactly what we're talking about: getting rid of all this bullshit, unelected commissions and personnel that don't even belong in the decision making. They're not running nothing, and cleaning that shit out. So I want to get to that even more in a minute here.
Exposing for the public the extent of that rot and waste, but then to take steps first through executive action and then laying the groundwork for broader change through legislation as well to rein in that deficit, to rein in that budget. We expect mass reductions. We expect certain agencies to be deleted outright. We expect mass reductions in force in areas of the federal government that are bloated. We expect massive cuts among federal contractors and others who are overbilling the federal government.
Yesterday, Musk posted on X that he shared famed economist Milton Friedman's opinion about how bloated government has become, writing Milton Friedman was the best, and shared this interview.
Department of Agriculture.
Abolish.
Gone.
Oh, man.
Department of Commerce.
Abolish.
Gone. Department of Defense.
Keep.
Keep it. Department of Education.
Abolish.
Gone. Energy.
Abolish.
From 14 departments down to four
basic
and a half.
fundamental functions. What are its fundamental functions? Preserve the peace, defend the country.
All right.
Provide a mechanism whereby individuals can adjudicate their disputes. That's the Justice Department. Protect individuals from being coerced by other individuals. The police do the function.
Great that Musk tweeted out that interview. Mark Tepper.
See that interview? That was 2008 by Milton Friedman. And he talked about it at that time. Which, I mean, it makes a lot of sense when you look at everything we have going on. And yeah, I like everything that they've gotten set up so far. It looks pretty good to me. I think I'm for the downsizing and the cutting of all this bloated government that we're in right now.
For your reaction.
Well, I mean, the great thing about Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy is that they are business owners, right?
I was going to say that. That's the thing about it. Their field is and experience are running business. So if anybody has the ability to do anything in terms of how to budget, cut costs, running a business, those two guys can certainly handle that. Because that's the problem with government, is that it's overspending, especially Democrats. They love to spend with no limits, right? Beyond limits. And then they have the audacity to say, hey, we're going to tax you so that way we could cover these overspending that we did here. Sorry, but we got to do it. And there's nothing you could do about it. So that's how Democrats are. And but yeah, this is great right here what they're doing with Elon and Vivek here for the plans of what they got going on.
Understand dollars and cents, and when you look at this whole potential of us eliminating government agencies outright, you got to ask yourself a question. Do these agencies add value? Is there a positive ROI, return on investment? And if the answer is no, if you can eliminate a department or an agency and the results, the outcome, the performance, there's no degradation in any of those areas, you don't need the agency. It's wasteful spending. And I love, one of the things Vivek mentioned during the primary debate, the very first one, was zero baseline budgeting, which a lot of businesses use, whereby you don't just roll over expenses from the prior year. You start every year with no expenses, and then you start to add in what's relevant at that point in time. And the issue with our government is we have a track record of allocating money to certain programs, and no matter how unsuccessful those programs are, we keep putting money there,
And Congress is going to also be assisting here in its own role. Look, this is one way to really start attacking the $36 trillion in debt. Jonathan.
Yeah, this is great that we're doing this. And something similar was tried in 1982 called the Grace Commission. And they found out that 1/3 of every tax dollar was either wasted or abused or was just basically lost. And what happened after that? Well, we still have the same problem.
Not
but
lost.
I think it's different with Vivek and Elon Musk because
that?
they've done things that no one's ever done. I mean, Elon Musk started a car company from scratch and is the most successful, most valuable car company now. So I am optimistic, but it will be hard. But it's very well worth doing, and everyone agrees.
So think about that. If they're going to rein spending and all this stuff, right? For example, loan forgiveness for college students, that's out. They could definitely just say, hey, sorry guys, pay your bills, and be like, yank that out. Boom. And going back to California, we got this high-speed rail to nowhere that Biden has continually helped chipped in and fund, even though it's way over budget and not enough money's been put into it at the same time. And guess what? Not one track has been laid to this day on the high-speed rail in California. And so let me see here if I could try to pull up how much has Biden. Let's see how much Biden spent on the high-speed rail. How much Biden spent on California. There we go. High-speed rail. See, people are already asking that. So this is the end of 2023. The Biden-Harris administration awarded $3 billion to advance construction in California's Central Valley. And well, this one says California received $6 billion in federal investment from the Biden-Harris administration. This was last year. All right, and then this one says right here, the Biden-Harris administration is $8.2 billion in new funding. Oh, that's just 10 passenger. Okay, never mind. Let me skip that one. But this is for the high-speed rail in California. Yeah, $6 billion. All right, and think about this. To this day, all right, how long has the high-speed rail been? What is the funding gap? How about that? Let's look at that. In 2023 March, all right, they sounded the alarm. There was an astounding unfunded gap of $92 billion to $103 billion between estimated cost of and known state and federal funding for the full San Francisco to San Diego systems. Because the concept of the high-speed rail originally was from San Francisco to LA in like an hour or something like that, right? That's just the original concept, straight line, boom. And then when they studied it, they were like, well, it'll be hard to just lay new track right through the city of San Francisco and then along, the coastal area. It just wouldn't be feasible, right? Let me pull up a map of California, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, so map of California. All right, real quick here. So when you zoom in, the original concept was high-speed rail, boom, San Francisco to LA. And it's supposed to be like high speed, so it'll be an hour, right? So then when they started to decide, okay, let's see what we can do here, when they try to run it through here, there's just too many houses and all that stuff, and then it'll be like too much trouble, right? Because it's too much, urban development, right? Along the main cities in the Bay Area here. But as you get out of the Bay Area, it's open land and all that. But then if you were to route it along the coast, it's routing along the coast. It'd be kind of tough, right? Because it's coast. So then they said, all right, we're going to have to route it inwards into the Central Valley, then run it down, right, through this part of the Central Valley on the 99, this side. Then through all this stuff, Bakersfield into LA, right? To me, if they were going to run it into the Central Valley, they should have just ran it along 5, because 5 is almost like a straight line, virtually, all the way down. All right? And so, all the rerouting, all that stuff, they rerouted into the 99 side over here, and they decided to start work along this area in the middle, all right? In the middle of, between like Fresno, Visalia, all that stuff here. That's where they decided to start the rail project, right? And then, of course, they did all these different areas to kind of lay, like the foundation of it and all that. And to this day, not one track has been laid, all right? Yeah, you can see there's work. They laid out kind of like the framework of the area, because it's all just rural area, open land, all along the areas out here. But yet, not one track's been laid. Let me see. Let's see here. When did it start? When did California high-speed rail start? When did California high-speed rail start construction? So let's see here. Original groundbreaking ceremony for original construction was held on January 6th, 2015. All right. So there it is. It's expected to be 800 miles long and had 24 stations. So since 2015, it's been almost 10 years. All right. Been almost 10 years, and not one track has been laid. And then you just saw it right there. Biden sent what? How many billion? Going back again. Let me put that up again. All right, let me Google that again. All right, let's see. How much Biden spent on California high-speed rail again, right? California high-speed rail. All right, just last year sent 3 billion, or I'm sorry, 6 billion. All right, so 6 billion wasted. All right, but that's what I'm trying to talk about here, is to rein in all this unnecessary bullshit spending. Right? You look at all the money sent over to Ukraine, Israel, right? And all these other countries that are receiving aid, but do they really need the aid from us, right? Like, there's so much to look at and really just dig into, right? You pull back all the federal funding that's going into, states that support illegal immigration, right? Imagine all that being reined in, and reining in all the, student loan forgiveness bullshit too. I mean, this is great. I think it's a great way to just, when you really dig into it, it's really going to be a lot of money pulled back. Plus, you're going to be, cutting ties and closing down departments that are just unnecessary, right? Imagine all that, man. The tightening of the budget, and guys that know how to run a business doing it, right? Trump is a businessman, right? Elon, Vivek, right? Business people. And then you got to run this government like a business, because far too long it's been, especially Democrats, there's this saying, right? You just spend money like a drunken sailor, right? Because they do. Obama did it when he bailed out the companies, banks, corporations, and when he bailed out all those things, right? When he brought in Obamacare, right? What, you think it's just a walk in the park? It's free? No. We're paying for it, and they're funding it for all this, people that can't pay for it. It's on us. And so this is going to be very, very interesting how things are going to turn out. And if you pull and no longer fund all this bullshit stuff, I mean, some of these things are going to be doomed to fail. This high-speed rail has been 10 years in the making, and not like I said, not one track has been laid in California for high-speed rail. All right, so I think, and then if you no longer fund it, and California has to find a way to fund it, they're not going to fund it. I mean, California's in a deficit spending for the next, they're projecting in the next 5 years, 4 to 5 years. They're not going to fund the high-speed rail. It's going to be abandoned. All right. Gavin Newsom is such an idiot. He's one of the worst in terms of spending. He'll spend money for the illegals. All these Democrat cities will spend money for illegals, and then they blow their budget, and then they want to tax us and do all this crap to cover up the bullshit, and yet still fund illegals. And it's just a vicious cycle that we're getting screwed over on each and every time. So yeah, I'm happy that DOGE was created, to really just kind of step in and, take the task of downsizing government. And I like it. I'm for it. I can't wait to see what they're going to get going on it. Let me know what you think about that. Before we go, let me take a look at the Wall Street Journal thing real quick, see if there's a quick read on it. Wall Street Journal. on DOGE. Let's see here. Let's look at this opinion piece, right? Hopefully they don't make me do some stuff here. Damn it. They're going to make me do this stuff here. Never mind. But yeah, it's definitely needed, though, to really just look at all the stuff that has been tucked in the budget, been hidden, out of sight, don't even know what we're spending on, and continuous stuff that's just a waste of money. I like it, and I can't wait to see what goes on. Enough of all that. Comment down below. Let me know what you think about it. And what do you think about it? Let me know what you think. More to talk about on the daily. Other than that, subscribe, hit the bell icon. That way you can stay on top of the daily content we got going on. I don't know. And then as the channel grows, I mean, I think what we'll do is we will maybe expand more content on the channel. Maybe a couple videos a day or more, just depending. Because I do like to talk, so but I have other channels outside of this channel, so check it all out. The links are in the description. All right, other than that, I'll see you next one.